What if I told you that the very first U.S. silver dollars could be worth more than a luxury car and in some cases even a mansion? These are not just coins. They are pieces of American history that collectors fight to own. Hidden in the world of rare coins are the very first U.S. dollar coins, some so scarce that if you find one, you may be holding hundreds of thousands of dollars in your hands. From the legendary flowing hair dollar of 1794 to the historic Draped Bust issues, early U.S. dollars are among the rarest treasures ever struck by the mint, and today we are uncovering the three rarest of them all. Imagine holding in your hand not just a coin but a living piece of American history, a piece of metal that carries the face of a man whose words shape the very foundation of the United States of America, a coin that tells the story of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the nation, the author of the Declaration of Independence, a man of vision science, politics, architecture, philosophy, and liberty. And now his life, legacy, and influence are forever preserved in the form of the Thomas Jefferson Presidential $1 coin, part of the historic Presidential Dollar Coin program that honors the leaders who built this country. And this is not just about metal or minting, it is about the journey of America itself told through the eyes of Jefferson, and the creation of a coin that millions have held, yet only a few truly understand in depth. The story of the Jefferson dollar coin begins with the United States Mint launching the Presidential Dollar Coin program in 2007, a program designed to honor the presidents of the United States in the order that they served, with Jefferson placed as the third issue in the series following George Washington and John Adams. His coin was officially released to the public in August 2007, marking a moment when collectors, historians, and everyday citizens could hold Jefferson's likeness in golden color. But unlike ordinary currency, this coin is steeped in meaning. Every element, from its design, inscriptions, size, and composition, carries significance, connecting the people of the present with the ideals of the past. The obverse of the Jefferson Presidential Dollar features a bold portrait of Jefferson facing forward, designed by artist Joseph Mena, whose engraving captures the dignity, intelligence, and determination that Jefferson embodied. Surrounding the portrait are inscriptions that read, "Thomas Jefferson and the years of his presidency, 1801 to 1809, a reminder of the 8 years during which Jefferson guided the nation through challenges, expansion, and transformation." The reverse of the coin features the iconic Statue of Liberty designed by Don Everhart, symbolizing freedom and the everlasting light of democracy, while the inscriptions "United States of America" and $1 remind the holder of its role as currency. The coin also has a distinctive edge lettering, carrying both the year of minting, the mint mark, and the mottos, "In God We Trust" and "A Pluribus Unum." These details were revolutionary at the time, creating not just a functional coin, but a collectible piece of artistry. But to truly understand the Jefferson coin, we must journey deeper into the man himself, because the coin is not just a portrait. It is a mirror of Jefferson's extraordinary life, born in 1743. In Shadwell, Virginia, Jefferson grew up in a colonial world dominated by British authority, and yet from an early age he showed curiosity, brilliance, and a hunger for knowledge. He studied at the College of William and Mary, mastering subjects from law to philosophy, mathematics, science, and languages, and he emerged not just as a lawyer, but as a thinker whose pen would one day ignite a revolution. His drafting of the Declaration of Independence in 1776 forever etched his name into history, with the immortal words that all men are created, equal words that continue to resonate and challenge generations. As the young nation grew, Jefferson's role expanded. He served as governor of Virginia, as minister to France, as the first secretary of state under George Washington, as vice president under John Adams, and finally as president from 1801 to 1809. His presidency was marked by bold moves such as the Louisiana Purchase, which doubled the size of the nation and opened the way for westward expansion. He championed the Lewis and Clark expedition, sending explorers to chart the unknown territories. and he envisioned an America of farmers, scholars, inventors, and free thinkers building a republic grounded in liberty and knowledge. The coin, therefore, is more than commemorative. It is symbolic of Jefferson's leadership and philosophy. His dedication to education is reflected in his founding of the University of Virginia. His architectural brilliance shines in Monticello, his estate, that stands as a national treasure. And his commitment to liberty is woven into every aspect of American democracy. Yet Jefferson was also a man of contradictions. He was a slave owner. While penning words of equality, he wrestled with the realities of his time, and his legacy continues to spark debate, reflection, and learning, which makes his coin not just a collectible, but a conversation starter about the meaning of freedom in America. Collectors value the Jefferson presidential dollar not just for its historical weight, but also for its unique minting qualities. It was struck at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with tens of millions produced, but special varieties, such as error coins, missing edge lettering, or coins in pristine, uncirculated condition, carry significant value among numismatists. The golden color comes from a manganese brass alloy, giving the coin a distinctive look. Separate from ordinary circulating coins, its size at 26.5 millimeters and weight of 81 grams. Give it a sturdy presence in the hand, while its limited circulation in daily commerce means many people encountered it, less often making it especially sought after by those who wish to preserve a complete series of presidential dollars to stretch the story further. One must dive into the cultural and educational purpose behind the program. Congress authorized the Presidential $1 Coin Act of 2005 with the vision that by putting presidents on coins, the public would not only use them, but also reconnect with history. Every Jefferson coin handed to a child, a student, or a collector became a chance to retell the story of liberty, exploration, and growth. It also tied into the renewed interest in dollar coins as a practical alternative to paper bills. Though the public reception remained mixed, the educational impact was undeniable. For 2 full hours, one can explore Jefferson's world through the lens of this coin, from his role in writing America's founding documents to his presidencies, triumphs and controversies, from his devotion to science and architecture to the paradoxes of freedom and slavery, and from the artistry of the coin's design to its value in modern collections. Every detail opens new paths of discussion, and every fact leads deeper into America's unfolding story. So when you hold the Thomas Jefferson presidential dollar in your hand, you are not just looking at a piece of money, you are touching a golden gateway into the life of a man whose ideas shaped a nation, whose vision stretched beyond his lifetime, and whose image endures today in both history books and in the gleam of a coin that continues to circulate as a symbol of the American experiment. And that is why the Jefferson coin is not only a treasure for collectors, but a lasting testament to the journey of the United States itself. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that is not just a piece of metal, but a powerful reminder of the spirit of America and the legacy of one of its most controversial yet influential presidents, Andrew Jackson, the man who became the 7th president of the United States and whose life story was filled with hardship, battles, triumphs, controversies, and unshakable determination. Now picture that story immortalized on the first dollar. Andrew Jackson coin, a piece that captures history, art, politics, and economics all at once, and which continues to attract collectors, historians, and enthusiasts from around the world. This coin is not just money, it is a journey into the very roots of American history and the transformation of the nation in the 19th century. The Andrew Jackson first dollar coin was part of the Presidential Dollar Coin Program, which began in 2007 and ran through 2016, aiming to honor each of the American presidents by issuing a $1 coin bearing their likeness. Andrew Jackson was honored in this series in 2008, when the United States Mint released his coin to represent not only his presidency, but also his remarkable rise from a frontier orphan to a leader of a growing democratic nation. This coin was more than just a commemorative piece. It was a statement about the importance of understanding Jackson's role in American history and why his name still sparks debates today. The obverse of the coin features the portrait of Andrew Jackson with inscriptions of his name, the years of his presidency from 1829 to 1837, and the words, "In God We Trust." This design gave Americans a chance to see their seventh president in bold detail as the engravers captured his strong character and rugged personality. Jackson was known as Old Hickory, a nickname earned from his toughness in both war and politics, and that very toughness comes across in the facial details of the coin. The reverse, as with all presidential dollar coins, featured the iconic statue of Liberty, a powerful symbol of freedom, hope, and unity. The edge of the coin carried incused lettering, a feature that included the year of minting the mint mark and the motto, E Pluribus. Unum Andrew Jackson himself was born in 1767 in the Waxhaws region along the border of North and South Carolina. He lost his father before he was born, and his mother later in his youth, leaving him an orphan at a young age. His early life was marked by hardship and struggle, but it was also a life that prepared him for resilience. He fought in the American Revolutionary War as a teenager, was captured by the British, and bore scars, both physical and emotional, from that conflict. His rise was not from privilege or wealth, but from grit, determination, and a fierce personality that often made him both loved and hated by his contemporaries. As a military leader, Jackson became a national hero after his victory at the Battle of New Orleans in 1815 during the War of 1812. This triumph against the British solidified his reputation as a fearless general and a defender of American sovereignty. When the Mint decided to feature him on a dollar coin, that military legacy was an important part of the story. It symbolized Jackson as not only a president, but also a man who stood as a bulwark of American independence. His presidency from 1829 to 1837 was one of the most transformative yet controversial periods in American politics. He expanded the power of the presidency, introduced what became known as Jacksonian democracy, which emphasized the rights of the common man against entrenched elites, and he reshaped the Democratic Party into a major force. His battles against the Bank of the United States, his implementation of the spoils system, and his strong stance on states' rights all became defining features of his administration. His most infamous policy, however, was the Indian Removal Act, which led to the forced displacement of Native American tribes on what became known as the Trail of Tears. This act has left an indelible stain on his legacy and remains a subject of heated debate among historians. When you hold the first dollar Andrew Jackson coin, you are holding a physical reminder of all these complexities of American history. The coin captures a man who was at once a hero, a fighter for democracy, a defender of the Union, but also a deeply flawed figure whose decisions brought suffering to thousands. The beauty of the coin is not only in its design, but in the way it forces us to reflect on the contradictions of history. Collectors find the Andrew Jackson dollar coin particularly appealing because of its place in the presidential dollar series and because it represents a president whose legacy is constantly reevaluated. The release of the coin in 2008 was met with interest from numismatists who understood its significance within the broader scope of United States coinage. The coin was minted at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, and like other presidential dollars, it was issued in both circulation strike and collector-proof versions. The proofs were especially valued because of their mirror-like finish and sharper details, which highlighted Jackson's portrait with exceptional clarity. Beyond its numismatic interest, the Andrew Jackson dollar coin represents a fascinating intersection of history, economics, and culture. It was introduced during a time when the United States Mint was trying to revive public interest in dollar coins, which historically had failed to gain widespread circulation despite various attempts, such as the Susan B. Anthony dollar and the Sacagawea dollar. The presidential dollar program sought to solve this by tying the coin directly to national pride and history. Yet, despite the rich designs and the educational value, most Americans continued to prefer paper currency, meaning that the Andrew Jackson dollar coin, like others in the series, became more of a collector's item than a daily use currency. 2. Truly appreciate the Andrew Jackson coin. One must look at the artistry behind it. The portrait design was created by Joel Iskowitz and sculpted by Don Everhart, both highly respected artists of the United States Mint. Their work ensured that the coin was not only historically accurate, but also aesthetically striking. The sharp lines of Jackson's hair, the stern expression on his face, and the overall presence of the portrait capture the essence of the man, while the balance of inscriptions and details make the coin a timeless piece of American medallic art. Over the course of history, Jackson's image has appeared on other forms of United States currency, most notably the $20 bill, which continues to carry his portrait too. This day, the dollar coin, however, adds another dimension to his numismatic legacy. It situates him within the continuum of American presidents, each honored with their own coin, and places him in the hands of collectors who study not just the coin's surface, but the deeper meaning behind it. For a 2-hour exploration, you can expand this history into Jackson's early years, his military career, his presidential policies and controversies, the economic and political climate of his era, the design, process of the coin itself, the broader presidential dollar series, and the impact on the collector's market. You can also explore how coins like this become teaching tools for younger generations, offering them a tactile connection to history and sparking curiosity about America's past. So when you begin your journey into the first dollar, Andrew Jackson coin, you are not just talking about a small golden piece of metal. You are unraveling the life of a man who shaped a nation. You are diving into the artistry of coinage. You are walking through the conflicts, victories, and mistakes that define democracy itself, and you are giving your audience a chance to hold history in their hands. Imagine holding in your hand not just a piece of modern currency, but a piece of history, minted to honor one of the most consequential yet often overlooked presidents in American history. The James K. Polk presidential dollar coin tells a story that stretches far beyond its golden surface. It represents the legacy of a man who expanded the borders of the United States in ways that forever changed the nation, and it ties into one of the most ambitious coin programs ever created by the United States Mint. This coin is not just money, it is a tribute, a collectible, a historical artifact, and a conversation starter. And today we are going to dive into everything about it. The James K. Polk presidential dollar was released as part of the United States Presidential $1 Coin Program, a series that began in 2007 and aimed to honor every American president who had passed away by featuring them on a circulating dollar coin, Polk the 11th. President of the United States appears on the 2009 issue, and the coin itself offers an incredible opportunity for collectors to learn about him, his presidency, and the story of the minting program. When the presidential dollar program was announced, it was a bold plan to bring attention to dollar coins, which had historically struggled to gain acceptance in everyday commerce, going all the way back to the Susan B. Anthony dollar in 1979 and the Sacagawea dollar in 2000. The public never really embraced these coins, yet the Mint had a new idea to not only encourage circulation, but also teach Americans about their own history. By putting the presidents on them, James K. Polk's coin came in the middle of this ambitious program, which released 4 presidents per year in order of service from George Washington onward. Polk's coin specifically was the 11th in the series, issued in 2009, following coins for William Henry Harrison, John Tyler, and Zachary Taylor. Polk's coin was released on August 20, 2009, and it immediately gained interest not just from coin collectors but also from history enthusiasts who understood the immense impact Polk had on shaping the United States as we know it today. Now let us step into the design of this coin on the obverse, or front of. The dollar coin, you see a portrait of James K. Polk designed and sculpted by United States Mint sculptor engraver Charles Vickers. It is a bold and dignified image of Polk showing him in formal attire, representing his role as president. Around the portrait are the inscriptions, James K. Polk, 11th President, 1845 to 1849. Marking the years he served in office, this obverse design captures the seriousness of Polk's leadership, a man known for his determination and relentless pursuit of his goals. On the reverse, or back of the coin, you find the familiar image of the Statue of Liberty designed by Don Everhart, which was used across the entire presidential dollar series. The inscriptions include United States of America and $1, the reverse. Design was meant to be iconic, patriotic, and consistent across the program, giving collectors a unifying symbol to link all the presidents together. One fascinating detail about these coins is that instead of putting mottos on the obverse or reverse, the mint decided to inscribe them on the edge of the coin. You will find "In God We Trust," E Pluribus Unum, and the year of minting, along with the mint mark on the edge lettering, which makes the coin unique and a little more challenging for casual observers to appreciate fully. This small change generated controversy in the early years of the program, as some critics argued that moving "In God We Trust" to the edge diminished its prominence. The James K. Polk presidential dollar was minted at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with proof versions struck at the San Francisco Mint. Millions of these coins were produced for circulation, though as with most presidential dollars, they saw limited use in everyday transactions. Instead, they became highly collectible and often remained in rolls, mint sets, and proof sets distributed to collectors. The condition of these coins matters greatly when it comes to value. High-grade uncirculated or proof examples can fetch premiums, particularly for collectors who build complete presidential dollar sets. But the true richness of the James K. Polk dollar coin lies in the story of the man it honors. James Knox Polk was born in 1795 in North Carolina and later moved with his family to Tennessee. He was a protege of Andrew Jackson and became known as Young Hickory, reflecting his loyalty to Old Hickory Polk. Rose through the ranks of politics, serving as Speaker of the House of Representatives and later as Governor of Tennessee before his surprise nomination as the Democratic candidate for president in 1844. His campaign was built around expansion, manifest destiny, and the promise to serve only one term if elected. Once in office, Polk proved to be one of the most effective presidents in American history. He had 4 major goals, and he accomplished every single one. He settled the Oregon boundary dispute with Great Britain, securing the Pacific Northwest. He oversaw the annexation of Texas, which had already been set in motion, but became a flashpoint in his presidency. He reduced tariffs and reestablished an independent treasury system, and most significantly, he led the nation through the Mexican-American War, which resulted in the United States acquiring vast new territories, including present-day California, Arizona, New Mexico, Nevada, Utah, and parts of Colorado and Wyoming. By the end of his presidency, the United States had expanded its territory by over a third, fulfilling the vision of manifest destiny. This coin, therefore, does not simply honor a president, it honors a transformative era. In American history, Polk's policies had long-lasting consequences, including intensifying debates over slavery in the new territories and setting the stage for the Civil War. Yet, his achievements in expanding the nation are undeniable. When collectors hold a James K. Polk dollar, they are reminded of a presidency that was both powerful and controversial, efficient, yet divisive, transformative, yet limited to a single term. As Polk kept his promise not to seek re-election. The presidential dollar series itself is a story worth telling. The United States Mint launched it to inspire interest in both coins and history. The coins were released at ceremonies, often with historical reenactments, educational programs, and strong marketing campaigns. But despite the efforts, the dollar coins continued to struggle in circulation. Americans preferred paper dollar bills, and the Federal Reserve banks found themselves with vaults full of unused dollar coins. By 2011, the program was scaled back and coins were produced primarily for collectors rather than for everyday use. Yet for collectors, the Polk coin remains a key part of the series in examining the James K. Polk Presidential. $1 can also explore the broader themes of American coinage design, how coins reflect national identity, how the mint balances artistry with function, and how special programs can revive interest in collecting for those building full sets. The Polk coin represents a midpoint in the early presidential years for those focused on individual presidents. It is a shining tribute to one of the most impactful leaders in the nation's history. And for numismatists, it is a fascinating object that captures the tensions of a modern minting program. As you can see, the story of this coin intertwines numismatic history, political history, and cultural history, and that is what makes it so compelling from the intricate details of its design to the broader context of Polk's presidency, from the challenges of the dollar coin in circulation to the enduring appeal of commemorative programs. This is far more than a piece of metal. It is a lesson, a legacy, and a reminder of how one leader's vision helped shape the map of the United States. The James K. Polk presidential dollar is therefore both collectible and educational, both valuable and symbolic, and it offers us the chance to hold history in the palm of our hand.